Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. Today we're coming in with a classic Spanish recipe, this time from the beautiful region of Catalonia, but more specifically the province of Girona, where they're famously known for having some of the best seafood in all of Spain. We're talking Spanish fisherman seafood stew. This is known as Tomba. And this dish has layer upon layer of so many amazing flavors. The recipe is very easy to make, and the best part is all done in about 40 minutes using just one pan. Folks, serve this dish next to a crunchy baguette to mop up all that goodness, and a bottle of Spanish wine from the beautiful region of Priorat. You can have yourself a taste of the Spanish Mediterranean. Alright, let's just jump right into this. I'm going to add in 2 cod fillets over some paper towels and pat them completely dry. Size of the fillets I'm using are 8 ounces, which is 225 grams each. And I am using cod about frozen and thawed out, but you can also use the fresh stuff here, as well as any other type of firm white fish, such as halibut, tilapia, or even hake, which is known as merluza in Spain. Then we'll season the fish with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper, and you want to make sure to do this on both sides. And then cut each fillet into 2 evenly sized pieces for a total of 4 pieces of fish. Then we'll add some all-purpose flour into a shallow bowl and coat each piece of fish in the flour. For the next step, I'm going to heat a large fry pan with a medium heat. I'm using a paella pan, which is what's typically used to make and serve this dish, but you can also use a regular fry pan or even a stock pot if you like, and add in a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, which is 60 milliliters. Important to use the good stuff here. This is what truly makes the difference. Make sure you get the Spanish one I'm using in the description box below. After a couple minutes, we'll add in the pieces of fish. You want to make sure they're on a single layer and evenly spaced out. And we're going to go for about 2 minutes per side here, until the pieces of fish have a light golden crust. At this stage, you don't have to fully cook it through. Once the pieces of fish have a light golden crust, once again at this stage you don't have to fully cook them through, we'll remove them from the pan and set them aside. Now, using the same pan with the same heat, I'm going to add in 1 medium-sized onion that's been cut into small slices, and 4 cloves of garlic that have been thinly sliced. And we'll mix the ingredients around, that way they're all coated in the olive oil. And as you know, I like to mix this around continuously, that way everything evenly sautés. After about 4 minutes, and the ingredients are lightly sautéed, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of dry white wine, which is 120 milliliters. If wine is not your thing, you can sub it for any broth of your choice with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. And we'll also add in 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, which is 1/2 gram. And we'll give it a mix, and then simmer it for a few minutes. After about 2 to 3 minutes, and the alcohol has been cooked off from the wine, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, which is 120 grams. As always, I made my sauce by finely grating fresh tomatoes, but you can also use canned tomato sauce here, which is similar to passata. And we'll give it a mix, and once again, simmer it for a few minutes. While tomato sauce is simmering, I'm going to cut 2 medium-sized potatoes that have already been peeled, washed, and patted dry, each one 2 half-moon shapes that are 1 centimeter thick, which is a little over 1/4 inch. Important to use potatoes here, they're a bit more waxy than starchy, as they hold their shape better in stews. I'm using Yukon Golds, but you can also use new potatoes, Golden Delight, or even red potatoes. After simmering the tomato sauce for about 5 minutes, and you can see it's really thickened up, we'll add in the chopped potatoes, and season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give it a mix until everything's well mixed together. Then we'll add in 3 cups of fish broth, which is 720 milliliters. You can also use chicken broth here, or even vegetable broth if you like. Either way, link where you can get the Spanish fish broth I'm using from Catalonia in the description box below. We'll also pinch in a 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which is 0.17 grams. Link where you get the Spanish golden saffron I'm using in the description box below as well. And 1 bay leaf. Then we'll turn it up to a high heat and give it a gentle mix. Once it comes to a boil, we'll lower the fire to a low-medium heat, and we're going to simmer this on an open flame for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are just cooked through. In the meantime, let's get the rest of our ingredients ready. I'm going to add in 1 pound of raw jumbo shrimp over some paper towels, which is 450 grams, and pat the shrimp completely dry. For this recipe, I'm using red Argentinian shrimp, about frozen and thawed out, already peeled and deveined, but you can use whatever shrimp you like. And then we'll season the shrimp with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And you just have to do this on one side. And we'll also add in 3 cloves of garlic that have been roughly chopped into a mortar, along with a pinch of sea salt. And using a pestle, we'll pound down on the garlic until we end up with a paste-like texture. You can also use a food processor here, hand blender, or even a NutriBullet. Then we'll slowly add in about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 45 milliliters, while mixing it continuously. Okay, let's move back to the stew. After about 20 minutes, the potatoes should just be cooked through. You know, you can always pierce them with a toothpick just to ensure that they're done. If you see that yours need more time, you simmer this for a bit longer and add in more liquid as needed. For the final step, I'm going to add the shrimp into the pan. You want to make sure all the shrimp are on a single layer and evenly spaced out. And the pieces of fish that we fried earlier, once again in a single layer and evenly spaced out. And we'll gently move the fillets around, that way they're perfectly nestled into the stew. And then we'll spoon some of the broth over the fish fillets. And we're going to simmer this for another 3 to 4 minutes until the seafood is perfectly cooked through. And make sure to again, they're at the halfway point and flip the shrimp, that way they're fully coated in all that goodness. Once all the ingredients are just cooked through, this dish is ready to go. I'm going to remove the pan from the heat. And we'll serve this directly out of the pan, topped off with our olive oil and garlic sauce, a couple lemon wedges, and some chopped parsley. Check it out, our Spanish Fisherman seafood stew is done. Easy to make, restaurant quality presentation, and all done in about 40 minutes using just 1 pan. Let's give this a try and see how it turned out. As always, folks, now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's see how this dish tastes. It looks absolutely amazing. Here we go. I'm telling you, with that first taste, I'm instantly transported to a beautiful beach in Catalonia. So much goodness in there. The seafood is beautifully cooked. Then you have the vegetables and the potatoes for that lift of goodness, and that garlic and olive oil sauce, taking this to the next level. Easy to make, heart healthy. Give it a try at home. Once you get an extra crunchy baguette to mop up all that goodness, and a bottle of Spanish wine from the beautiful region of Priorat, you can have yourself a fabulous meal. Really quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Stephen Riggs, John Kachanowski, and John Dayan. Again, guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. Enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on the bell icon. That way you can get notified every time I release new content and to become a part of the Spain on a Fork family. Till the next time, hasta luego.